why is it important that everything gets done off of here? That's exactly it. Do we all have scanners? Do we want to scan in last year's return? You have one of the best scanners around on your phone. And so everything gets done by just taking pictures from last year's return, your 1099s, W-2s, anything that you have of that nature. That's how everything gets uploaded. Why is it really important to not just go out from the App Store or Google Play and download the app? So that you make sure that it gets tied to you. Because if you go out and download it, guess what? Then we have to go back and try to figure out who it gets connected to, and we just don't have any way of doing that. So start out just like that video showed. And by the way, all those steps I'm going to show you at the end. You can text a short code, get all that information again. You can watch that webinar whenever you want. We have that ready to go for you to walk through that. So there's a bunch of resources around it as well. So it's not just here. I wanted to make sure to come in and do Q&A with everybody, but I also want you to know that there's a bunch of resource behind all of this. So again, you start out and you start out on your own by purchasing it, going through that process, or you can enter in client information and have an email go out to them. You can upload as many people as you want in there, have an email that goes out to them, that automatically gets tied to you. What happens next year when they do a return and they don't even tell you about it? It's still tied to you. Okay? If they go through the same service, because the service is going to reach out to them, everything will be there for them already from last year's information. They'll be tied to you again, and that commission will automatically fall into WFG for you in the future going forward. So all of that gets tied to you. That's why you want to start there. Enter your information or the client information. Here's another thing that we've changed. A lot of taxes are done such that you basically go in with all your documents, someone does the return, and then what? They tell you how much it costs after they're done. This is very different. You know exactly what it costs. So your clients, anyone that's getting into the system, they're going to know exactly what it's going to cost before they do anything. It's really important when you're on the app to enter correct information. Don't enter in dummy information, enter in the correct information. We've had a couple returns where someone entered in their information, the return cost $300, and it was a $100 return. We refunded $200, but there's some steps involved in that process. So enter in correct information. We have the opposite one too. We have the opposite where someone had a business, they didn't claim that when they were entering in information. There's a $300 return that really should have been $500. So you'll want to go through that process and entering your correct information. The range is 100 to 500. It's actually 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. That's it. It's as simple as that. And it really depends on how complex your situation is. You'll know before you enter in any kind of credit card information to pay. Okay? All right. So let's get into some questions that you may have around it. Any questions from the group here? Yeah, and also on the phone as well. Yeah, I'll repeat the question. So 1 second, we have a question in the room, and I'll just repeat it. The question is, are there split commissions? So this is a WFG issue. WFG does not do any split commissions on referral products. Yeah. I wish we could. So go ahead on the phone. I'll come back.
Yes.
I'm going to go yes. The question that I have is, I actually started out with an app and I came across a little giddy up in the process where, as a business owner, we have our expenses. And I had a confusion of where to put that in because I didn't see it come up. And on top of that, if you would rent like an apartment as well, the confusion was doing rental property or homeowner. That was kind of confusing right there for me. So I was trying to get a better understanding of what to do moving forward and how to put in those information.
Absolutely, and so the system is made to be able to handle rental properties, businesses, and anything of that nature. So if you're not finding the area to be able to enter that, call our number, our toll-free number. I'll have it up at the end as well. Call that number, we'll walk you through that process. We'll get the CPAs on the line and make sure that you're able to enter in all your expenses, whether it's for the rental property or the business.
Excellent. And one more real quick, Michael. As far as I see the example that was given out as far as the payout to the 30%. Now, as far as that payout to WFG for the field, would that be considered the points? And then whatever else trickles down from your promotion level, that'd be commission? So that was my other question that I would have for that.
Yeah, so there's a different grid for referral products, and it's actually at a higher percentage. I think it starts at 62.5 and goes up from there. So the lowest is 62.5, if I'm not mistaken, for referral products. So it's a higher percentage.
And it's not really a promotion.
Yes, and it does count for your promotion. Cool. And then it's the percentage according to,
Hey, Michael, I have a
referral
question.
products. Yes.
What's the total when clients submit all their information, submit some histories, and what's the turnaround time, and what are you at that point?
Yeah, great question. So what's the turnaround time on this? Here's what we've been doing. 92% of them are done the same day. And it's electronically filed that same day. A lot of it, guys, the biggest issue is how quickly and accurately you can get your information into the system. The CPAs are ready to go. They're ready to go. They'll follow up with you. You'll see the return before it gets filed. If there's some questions, they'll call you and they'll talk to you about it, and then they'll file it electronically, and you enter in your information, and it'll just get electronically funds transferred to you for the refund.
So don't you ask questions? Can you please identify your name and your office so that we can be able to get to your office, so that we can see your face, you know?
Yes. Yeah, so the question was around F corporations. Do we do F corporation filings? Yes, so we can do business returns as well. That's the full business is the $500.
They ask for the enterprise code.
And then,
When you go to the website,
there
Builder
are other
1000.
things that are-
Write that down, Builder 1000.
Well,
That's
it
the
depends on
enterprise
how
code. When you download it, it'll ask it. You're like, what the hell's the enterprise code? Builder
But
1000.
based on what I hear about the pricing, I think we save a lot of money.
Price is incredible.
Through this website. I mean, you know, if you want to do regular CPA, they're going to charge you double, triple.
For
It
sure.
is, and it is geared to be a lot less expensive because, first of all, you don't have an office down the street, there isn't brick and mortar. You don't have CPAs all over the country, they're in one location. It's all virtual. And so that's what really changes. This
Imagine
is
that.
going to be the future of how this gets done.
That's what I see.
Virtual.
Hey, Michael, this is God of one more question.
God of Office, you have one more question. Okay, come up here now.
You mentioned once that if there's an audit that happens that the CPA is taking the liability. What did you mean by that? Because I think a lot of my clients have concerns like this, not into the firm. And, you know, what if that happens again? Is there help that we get to help us through the auditing process? Is there a break we get on it?
Good
Or
question.
What happens?
Yeah, so audit protection is included in the process and the pricing. So if there is an audit, they will actually support that and go through that from a correspondence perspective. Yeah, that's included, and it should be. That absolutely should be included.
It's a big deal.
Wow,
That's a big deal.
this is incredible. Okay. Wow, Rick.
Michael, Richard Martinez, I actually had the pleasure of emceeing for you last
Yeah,
year.
yeah, I remember.
My first question is, a lot of our clients, they have a relationship with CPAs.
That's right.
And the first question they're gonna ask is, well, tell me about your CPA.
Yeah.
So maybe you can talk about their level of expertise, and when they submit it, which CPA are they getting? Because they're gonna wanna know, like, hey, how is this guy qualified?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to know.
Yep.
And then secondly, when you say the CPA comes to you, there's no real face-to-face. It's just online,
That's right.
and then they email it, and then they store it
Yeah.
there. So if you can talk about the level of expertise of CPA, they might wanna know that actual person, is it a team, or, maybe that's my question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great question, Richard. So, they are absolutely qualified CPAs that are doing the returns. They're highly trained. Again, one of the differences that you get with a lot of offices that you'll walk into, that is really just churning a lot through these, different returns, is their training level is not as high. And a lot of them aren't CPAs. So a lot of people that we go to are not CPAs. They don't have a 4-year degree behind them and a CPA, as far as the testing is concerned on top of that. So they're all highly qualified. It is a full team that does it. And yeah, absolutely. And so, but you'll be able to interact with someone if you want to. So if you're feeling uncomfortable about something, you'll be able to interact with them. And what I mean by they come to you is that you can call them, they will call you if they have questions as well. And so there really isn't a lot of need to sit down, because even the way that we used to do returns a generation ago, we'd walk in with that shoebox. Do you remember that, with the rubber band around it? That just doesn't happen anymore. That's not the case. And so even when you walk in, the CPA is sitting in front of a computer asking you numbers.
Right.
So what is the point of that?
That's right.
I mean, if you really look at the process, it's not like they're going one receipt at a time and adding that up. That's bookkeeping services. That's not tax filing. Here's the other thing that, we want to make sure that you're doing something that
the
someone
CPS,
is going to turn around and take your
I don't know how to
away
ask.
from you. This service
You have
just
to be
does
on.
that.
It's a good question.
They're part of the Legacy Shield family.
Yeah,
They're not gonna turn around and
Do you know how
say,
to ask a question?
oh, I'd also like to
Do you know how
sell
to ask a
you
question?
insurance.
You just unmute, yeah.
And that's what often happens. Or you don't need a permanent product, right? That's what
I
a
believe so.
lot of
Yes,
times
I-
happens
I-
with CPAs. Here's the other thing, my friends out here that
Because
do
they're the ones
taxes.
preparing it.
Do you want to do the basic return for most people? Why not? Yeah, that's right. Do you want to do a return for $300? The answer is no. And so that's the issue. A lot of times they want to get into the highly complex situations. And so a lot of CPAs that are around you will look at a service like this and say, well, that's great. I can actually send them there and make money on it and use my time for the highly complex stuff. I'm in. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, most CPAs don't want to do the $300 deal.
There you go.
So I think, for most people out there, they end up with $300 deal, $500 deal with some tax repair.
Yep.
Mhm.
And why don't they go here and get a CPA representative? That's better that way. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike, you wanted to give me, Mike, I have a question regarding about, the confidential
I don't know what it is.
security,
Yeah.
label, in terms of the crime. A lot of cases, like, okay, I don't see this person in person, right? Everything is
Get a real
done,
code.
through, mobile. So, how confident is it that, we can have 100% trust in terms of, the, confidential information, because it's all about taxes and social.
That's right.
So are these they working from their own office, or you have a team that they work remotely, or how does that work in terms of to boost up the confidence level of the client?
Yeah, that's a great question. So look, privacy and security, we're all gonna have to deal with going forward. And it's just the world that we live in. So when you walk into a CPA's office or an enrolled agent's office, and they enter your information into their computer and you're verbalizing it, is there a security issue? Yeah, It's on their computer. Do they have to turn around and file it electronically? They have to. Yes. They can't even mail it in anymore. So we all have to deal with that. And that office that you walk into, what's the privacy and security level there? We don't even often ask that. And so from a Legacy Shield perspective, we spent the first full year of our existence creating an enterprise-grade solution before we launched anything. We launched when? November 7th, right? In New York. I left Transamerica at the beginning of in January of 2015. That whole year was spent building an infrastructure and system, and we've been hardening it since then around privacy and security. Because what happens when you have one breach on a system like ours? It's done. And so from the beginning, we built it out that way. In fact, when you put a file into Legacy Shield system, the file name itself is even encrypted. So if someone hacks into the system, they can't even get to the file name itself. Because we think that's privacy and security issues around that as well. And that's just not done in financial services. That's just not done. It's very expensive to have that level of privacy and security. I can go into a lot of detail. We have a white paper around privacy and security. I won't go off the deep end on it, but it's one of those that for me, my reputation is worth more than anything else the company's going to do. And so from the beginning, I brought in someone that I've known for decades, that has military background. He still has top secret clearance with the military, and this is what he does. And so that's our CTO from the beginning. So we wanted to ensure that. And that's the same thing throughout everything that we do on the system.
I see a lot of team members, like people before, they have a job, they have a very simple finance. And many of them now join our business and they begin to have business expand, begin to all these things from mileage to other business risk prevention. So I think for us alone, we need to have this kind of service. And I think internal consumption is that we need to do it ourselves anyway. And it's a fantastic way to start from ourselves first, you know, unless you have very, very complicated whatever. But based on what I know, you have an S corp that you can do it, and I mean, you know, and by the end of the year, you have to sort out all the receipting you have put in, you know, whatever. If there's something interesting like the gentleman will talk about different things with rental property or maybe other income, then you have to go to CPA. I find that, you know, when you get to some website where you buy travel agent, like Orbit or CPA, about Expedia, for example, if you book it and somehow there's something that is linked or whatever, you can always call them. And then somebody on the line will answer and fix the problem for you. So this is the future going to look like. I mean, tax doesn't have to be so tedious and complicated. You know, a lot of people are now busy, and you don't have to go back to the tax preparer, the tax service several times to get your tax done, and wait and cramping yourself in the last minute of the last 2 weeks of April. You can do it now, and they can do it within the day. When the CPA will the one who signed it and submit to the IRS. That's right. That's right. Well,
And it's the convenience factor of
Tax
you being
preparer
able to
is-
do it, or your client being able to do it when they want.
So you just said it.
So being able to enter in that information after you're done working, rather than, we're open from 9 to 5. Well, I work then, right? And so you can do it whenever you need to.
I find that a lot of people, when you do the taxes, you have to make appointment, and it's heavy tax season. Sometimes you have to negotiate to find the right time.
That's right.
And it's a necessary, just like waiting for a taxi nowadays. You don't have to. You have an Uber, you just have to click on. Yeah. Yes? Okay, no. But who is that?